Alright, so I came in this morning and I have a message on the dry erase board that lanes 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 are letting pins into the ball return, and they're just throwing too many balls. Sometimes you get balls and pins that end up, the balls get stacked up on the lane themselves, and then it'll push a few pins through the door. But if it's league members, usually they're pretty patient, and if you have issues with pin getting in the lane on league members, then that's probably an issue with the pin setter. I checked out 3 and 4. Everything on 3 and 4 seemed fine. So I even ran in diagnostics my ball door solenoids. See if I can point it up here. Point it out to you. In the upper image here, this is your ball door solenoid. Whenever the ball breaks past the photo cell, the sweep arm drops, and at the same time this solenoid right here fires, which lowers that arm. You see it dropping down about maybe a half inch or 3/8. It drops down a little lower just so the trigger on the ball door itself. Let's get you right down in the light here. See if we can point it out better. The trigger right here on the ball door itself will catch easier on this. Now I can see on this lane that this trigger is down low. It normally is up about here to where it will catch that solenoid, that ball door solenoid arm will drop down. So normally it's up in the air. If a ball hits the switch on the inside of the door on the lane side, it drops this trigger, and then the ball door will open, allowing the ball to come in. Now, normally it's up in the air, and as soon as the ball breaks the beam of the photocell, this solenoid from up above will fire, dropping that arm for 3 seconds. So no matter what, even if a ball did hit that switch, see, it still can't open. Well, the issue I'm seeing right here, let me get my light a little better for you. There. Alright, maybe a little bit like that. So we've got a spring right here. That spring has come loose off of the actual trigger, which keeps it up in the air. And I see the same thing on the other side over here. It actually has no spring. There's supposed to be a, I'll put you right in the center of the image. Right here. There's supposed to be a spring on that, so there's no spring. The odd thing is it's off on both sides on the same lane. I don't know if somebody got in here and snagged everything up on their shirt or something, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and try and get this one back up. Get you some light on the situation. So there's a little tiny cotter pin up here in the top, and bring this down. Hopefully it'll help a little. There. So there's that little cotter pin. There's a teeny little, the head of it, the bent part is coming through the top. I'm going to see if I can get that spring back on. It's going to be probably a little difficult. And make it so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can get you set up here. Sorry about that. Hope nobody got a concussion from that. Trying to move some things around here. Make it work better for you to see. Okay. So I'm going to try and raise this up. There's a little hook right on the end of it. I'm going to try and catch that little cotter pin. Just like so. It seems like the spring is a little stretched out. I'm just going to bend the hook back. I'm not going to try and stretch the spring anymore. There we go. Okay, so I bent the hook back. Now if I can bring it up. I just wish I had a smaller space to work in. Come on. I'm trying not to stretch that spring out either. I'm going to get a pair of multi-pliers up in here if I can. This is taking way longer than it normally does, but I usually don't have a camera or the entire internet in my way. Okay, so I'm bringing it up. The World Wide Web all up in here with me. Bringing it over. There we go. That's got the spring back up. I'm probably going to bend it just a little bit more in place, in position. Not really trying to... You don't want to put a hard bend in there because you're going to change the tension on that. If you bend it hard, it's probably going to lower about 1/8, which would relieve some of the spring tension on that spring. So now, as you can see, get you over here by the side. Sorry about the shakiness. Get you some better lighting. Alright, so now you can see if a pin just hits the door and knocks it in, it's going to catch that switch. If a ball on the inside hits the switch where it's supposed to be, that will lower so the balls can go past. Alright, now whenever the ball breaks the photocell, the solenoid is going to fire from up above, and even if the ball hit the switch, it would not be able to go past the door. So that was the issue with these lanes. That small spring had come off. Sometimes if it's not the spring on that door, it's going to be a spring right out here. That spring on the door itself that actually attaches from the hinge over to the housing of the ball door housing. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing on 8. I don't think you really need to see that. It's just in reverse. And I'll take care of that. And that should deal with all my pins getting in the ball door issues. I'll still run it in diagnostic just to see that my solenoids themselves are firing and doing the jobs they should do. Alright, so I got it all set up. I'm just going to run it here in diagnostics on my odd lane, lane number 7 this time. It's going to be a little noisy, but we'll just see that everything's firing and rotating the way it should. So the sweep just dropped. My ball door solenoid fired. Sweep just cleared the deck. Just waiting on the 7 pin. There we go. Just set my pins. Sweep dropped again, and the ball door solenoid fired twice. Alright, so I think everything's good on this lane. I'm going to start trying to get that spring up on the lane beside me.